One of the things that we're rolling out today that I'm pretty excited about, which is a place on our website where folks can invite us to come to stuff. So we've been doing a lot of events all over the state over the last couple of years. We've been to farmers markets, fairs, festivals. We've seen people's communities. We've seen people's workspaces. We've seen protests. We've seen government meetings. We want you to be able to tell us when those things are happening and you want us to come out to them. So that our event schedule this year is not just where we want to go, but where you want us to go, where you think there's a story that needs to be told, where there's folks that you think need to hear this message. So if you go to gogreen.com, invite us, or gogreen2026.com, invite us. It has this page up there, and it's real simple. You don't got to fill out a form or anything. Just send us an email with what your idea is. We'll get back to you, and we'll go to where you are. And I know you did a little bit of this at the end of last year, Owen. And I think that was some of the inspiration for this.
Yeah, we'll show up. We'll answer questions. We'll talk. We'll listen. We're not just there for the photo op or the cameras. We really want to build with you and listen to your concerns and share what we're doing. And so this is kind of it's a big statewide campaign, but there's a small scale, there's a human scale to it, whether, I'm looking forward to a barn party in Southern Maryland later this year. We're going down to the Leonardtown Library, right? So these are some events that we set up, but we also like showing up to events that you're doing, and we're happy to do that.
Yeah. So that's one of the things we have. We also have some new events that are coming. If you go to our events page, you'll be able to see there that, there is a whole bunch of stuff that Owen just mentioned that's starting to come up, and we'll be there for the spring. Always be willing to check this page out, gogreen2026.com events. We'll keep it updated regularly. And also invite us to your living room, your local library, and wherever else the sign says. So the next thing I want to talk about is we unveiled a new piece of our policy platform today. And I call it the sort of civic engagement platform. And that's going to be a lot of some of the stuff we're going to talk about tonight. So you can go to gogreen2026.com, civic engagement. And it talks about how we hope to return power to the people, create a culture of democracy, create a culture of deliberation, and create a culture of debate throughout the state of Maryland. So, I'm not going to read it all to you right now, but some of the policy proposals that we're looking at are universal debate education in public schools, debate programs at public colleges, community colleges, and universities, real intentional deliberative town halls that let folks get connected with their elected officials and actually have participatory and deliberative dialogue that's good. We want to double the state library budget. We think libraries are a great space of this kind of interaction that we need. And we have a policy to double that budget so that the libraries can do more stuff. We want to bring participatory budgeting to state and local government. We will also want to create programming like this that doesn't just occur on our YouTube channel, but can occur on Maryland Public Television, for example. We think Maryland Public Television has a great opportunity right now to re-embrace democracy and to represent more Marylanders. And we'd love to be able to have party-based programming about policy and politics and theory on Maryland Public Television. And then we think we need some citizen assemblies where people get together and propose their ideas and things like that. So you can go check that out, gogreen2026.com, civic engagement, a bunch of policy proposals there. As with all of our policy proposals, it's a work in progress, and you'll be able to see more about it over time. So what do you think about some of that stuff, Owen?
Yeah, I think a lot of this doesn't fall along the traditional red, blue, left, right lines, because it's not about more power to politicians. It's about more power to the people. And that's not what we see in day-to-day Democratic or Republican politics. So I think it's really refreshing. And, you might not think of some of these as your top most urgent pressing issue, but rather these are the ways that we debate, that we flesh out, that we build coalitions and restore our sense of civics so that we can achieve those other top priorities.
Yeah, and I mean, I think for some people, it is their biggest issue. I'm reminded of multiple conversations that we've had at tables and events where parents will come up and they will be asking for some activity that their kid can engage in. They may not like band, they may not like sports, and often simultaneously complaining about how there's a lack of civics education and things like that. Now, some of those complaints are not necessarily rooted in modern, curriculum practice or whatever, I think is a fair way to say that. But aside from that, I think having debate education in every elementary, middle, and high school from Cumberland to Cambridge or from, Berlin to Bowie is a way of addressing those needs, is a way of addressing those after school program needs, and is a way of addressing the desire of parents and students and teachers to have more civic education.
I agree. Very exciting.
And double the library budget. It's convenient. The library budget's about $100 million a year. And I think we already identified a good place to double it from, and all those subsidies that we pay to the horse racing industry. So, you heard it here first.
Yeah, much love for the librarians all across Maryland. My first job after school in high school was at a library. And these are, as many other spaces where people can get together in public that don't involve capitalism directly wither away. We see libraries as increasingly essential. Sometimes they're being asked to do too much, right? But doubling their budget would allow them to meet that challenge.
Yeah. So check it out, gogreen2026.com, civic education or civic engagement. First of many policies that we're going to be unveiling in this part of the year of 2026. So we'll have some new ones coming and some regular cadence as the General Assembly session starts. And so the last thing I want to talk about is the debate bill. You've heard us refer to it a bunch of times as the debate bill, and it is a bill that would require public broadcasters in the state of Maryland to include all ballot-certified candidates in statewide debates. We're going to
keep their funding.
If they want to keep their funding, right? So they don't have to do it. They can choose. They can choose not to do it. But if they want to be funded by taxpayer dollars in the state of Maryland, they have to include all candidates in any debates that they run. So this bill is being introduced by Delegate Gary Simmons, a Democrat from Arundel County, who also has a big belief and faith in the power of civics and dialogue in order to bring better outcomes and bring better democracy. It'll be introduced next Wednesday when the General Assembly session starts, and we're going to be talking about it a lot between now and, when hopefully it gets passed and Governor Moore signs it, because we think it's a piece of common sense legislation that is good for democracy because more voices get to be heard on the stage. It is good for Maryland Public Television because more viewers will turn in if they see themselves represented in that. And it is good for Maryland because it helps us to have multiple perspectives on the complex issues that are facing us today. So we will talk plenty more about it later in this show. We'll talk about it with Matt later, but this is a piece of real legislation that is really going to be introduced in the Maryland General Assembly next week to address one of the biggest barriers third parties face when they're trying to, make the case that we need to have a different kind of system.
Yeah, and public media is certainly under attack by the right-wing federal government, and this is an opportunity for them at the state level, not just in Maryland, but states look at what each other are doing. This is an opportunity for public media to innovate at the state level, to expand their audience, and to push back against the narrative that they favor one party, because we're saying they favor two parties. And this is their chance to put all parties that the State Board of Elections has certified as participating in the general election on the debate. And just hearing issues debated from multiple perspectives, if you watch that 3-person debate for New York City mayor, it's just more interesting. You really have to think through the issues. You have to defend your position from multiple angles, and it's not just the same old, same old.